Ignore the shitty tack welds, but I just love the way they turn out. I just know they're gonna work out so well. Okay, here we are again, and we are going to finally weld these brackets up. With that being said, I've said that for the last 2 episodes, but as you saw, we've had hang-ups, we've had this, we've had a cat run away, we've had that. Starting late just doesn't really work out. So this time, it's 5 p.m. Got my work done a little early, and we are starting earlier than 8 p.m. which seems to be a huge factor, obviously. Let's review. Okay, so here we are. What we decided on the last one is that I'm gonna go ahead and weld these guys here, or this guy here. Now, I might need to work around this bar a little bit. It's probably gonna be extremely close, but it should work out. We'll see. That's the goal for today, is to mount that motor finally. Getting the transmission mounted in there too. I mean, that's just, we need to get this car over to Ross's shop so we can get the roll bar and the turbo manifold done. I've got the turbo manifold flange on the way. That should be here in a couple days, and then Ross can build that out. Without further ado, I'm gonna get into this thing and get to building. First thing I'm gonna do is run a couple more beads. Everybody's giving me shit about these welds, and I will admit, it doesn't seem like, I don't know what the word is, they're sunk in. There's a lot of material, but I'm gonna run a couple more beads, make sure it's strong. Okay, doing some test fitting on these plates. It looks like one of these is like way off. Not way off, but enough to where I'm gonna have to maybe flip this plate, or perhaps fiddle with the holes a little bit. See, the issue is one of these holes don't quite line up. So like this bolt, it needs to go like here. So I'm gonna have to make an adjustment on this plate, and I think it's the same way on the other plate. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, that seems to have done the trick, but just in case, this one's being a little stubborn just in the threads. See if the OEM bolt will go in there. Yeah, it just gets stuck too, so it just needs probably just threads chased. So let's see if we can find that. Okay, got my tap tested in a good hole. Appears to be the one. Ratcheting style tool to get your thread down through there with a little less headache. Most of them are kind of like a manual style, but you can see all that, it looks like just kind of rust and crap. Oh yeah, much better. Since this thing has to be at an angle, I need to shave down one of these sides more than the other, because when it goes on square, that's all fine and dandy. But you come starting at an angle, you're gonna get that lift. Trimming that edge there is gonna help point us in the right direction. Yeah, there's a gap here. So I need to clean up the edge there a little bit to make it conform a little better. Finally got this seated how I want. And as you can see, the pipe is now landing probably right about where we want to be once we cut it down. So now the tricky part is figuring out this cut. Now this is going to be kind of a weird cut. So what I'm going to do is mark it where it's touching on the other side and just start cutting slices out of it more or less. As far as the angle, we're just going to kind of just keep grinding down the edge until we get that perfect conformity there. So let's do it. Something like this. So let's go ahead and cut that. A little inconsistent here on the angle. That's not cool. Yeah, you can see what I mean when it says slice. It conforms to that angle it's coming in at, so give that a shot. Too long. That's okay. Kind of planned on that. While I have this here, I want to show you guys another thing. See this bolt? This is going to be a complete bitch to get out if this rod ends up in the vicinity that it is. So I'm actually going to, it's kind of favoring this side, so I'm going to adjust my cuts down below. You can't see them, but I'm going to adjust it down below to just kind of move it a little bit more this way. That way it'll give us some more clearance on that bolt. It'll also land us in the center of the plate. So just another thing I just didn't account for is accessibility of that bolt until I'm actually looking at it. Kind of nice to catch it in the early stages of cutting this piece before we weld it up and all that. I saved us a little time by just doing the iterations off camera, but this is kind of what I came up with. Pretty flush on there. And it looks like we'll have clearance for this bolt to get out, so we should be good there. And that's kind of the idea. Just gonna ground it down to make it look nice and, or well, be nice and flush on there. Nice and flush on there. I think it's about time to tack it up. It is tacked. That's pretty awesome. At this point, I'll probably move on to the other side. Okay, this thing just paid for itself. That is usually like a 5-minute job. Now that the tabs are on, put my bushing in here, and here's our plate. Now we just need to connect the pieces, and this side will be done. I want this to contact just like a 1/2 inch lower on this plate. So what I'm going to do is take another slice out. This very small though, rather than just grinding. Slice. Very small. Man, that feels good to have those like even tacked. Just the fact that they're assembled, cut. So now just to weld them up. Just FYI, my screen is cracked. I'm wondering how that looks to you guys. Oh, it's like a bad reflection. Okay, just kidding. Not gonna weld these motor mounts up. Ross had offered to let me use his welder. Mine's just a little Hobart, I think it's a 120 or 140 for a thick metal like this. As you guys saw on my tabs, it'll be fine. I ran some extra beads, but for these, I want them to look good and really penetrate since they are supporting the motor. So I'm gonna go ahead and use his MIG welder. He's got a big badass one out at the shop. We're just gonna hold off on those. Ignore the shitty tack welds, but overall, man, these things, I mean, I just love the way they turn out. They're just, I just know they're gonna work out so well. I'm so glad I went with the design I did, and it should work out really well. So with that being said, that's about all I've got for tonight. Like you saw yesterday, we did the 1,000 subscriber live feed. That was a lot of fun. I do need to figure out the transmission tabs. I may need to cut a couple new ones because just the way the body lines up with that, it kind of, the distance varies. So basically I just need some longer tabs, I think. Ross might have some other ideas, but as of right now, that's kind of the plan. So that's kind of the next step since the motor mounts are done now. Well, until they're welded. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. We got, you know, over 1,000 subscribers now. Hope all 1,000, whatever, 10, 20, 30 of you are enjoying it. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below, the red button, white lettering. I'm gonna go edit, take a shower. I am dirty as hell, covered in freaking metal shavings. Until next time, we'll see you guys in the next one.
That's what we become. That's what we become. Been around a little bit, but not as long as Littlefoot. Oversensitive, and then we blame it on political correctness. That shit got me pessimistic. Why we try to please them all and ask for acceptance? We all a little off in exception. Eli, quit acting like a BI and get to stepping like